Even though the focus is largely on Katarine's super OP Slay right now, the Chariot of the Gods for Settra did get a slight buff. It now has the Glorious Charge buff, which inflicts additional leadership penalties and doubles the duration of the charge bonus. A little bit odd on the Chariot. I almost wish this was Devastating Flanker. I mean, the extra leadership impact is pretty nice, must be said, considering that Settra, of course, is undead, already causes fear, kind of gives a double morale effect on units which are susceptible to it. But let's take a look at the rest of the builds here. This replay from Pigman once again. Got 3 Shabti Greatbows, including Chosen of the Gods, Skeleton Spears, and Tomb Guard, including the Kappa Guard up front. And then the Eyes of the Desert Sepulchral Stalkers Regiment of Renown with 1 Screaming Skull Catapult. As for the High Elves, Imric up in the sky. I've got a Life Mage with some Spearmen, lots of Spearmen, Staunch Line even, and some Rangers, Shadow Warriors, very interesting choice. That's pretty much it, so let's get things rolling. Settra's Chariot is pretty decent. It has been for quite some time, but obviously not nearly as broken, overpowered as Katarine's Slay, which is a good thing. I think Settra's Chariot can be very strong if you use it well. Generally, though, Chariots, just as a general rule in the meta, are not great. There's a few that are very strong. Most of them are just either okay or not very good. But here, the Shadow Warrior is able to get up close enough to start shooting the Screaming Skull crew. It is returning fire on those Shadow Warriors on the left there, getting some solid damage in, and that extra leadership penalty, of course. If Settra gets some direct synergy there, could be lots of leadership impacts. He is going to risk it, though. Oof, yeah, these Fireborn, thankfully for Settra, actually don't have an attack order on him. The High Elf player microing elsewhere doesn't notice a nice opportunity to get a beautiful charge on Settra. It does just crush those Temple Guard, but is going to eat the Incantation of Vengeance. You don't see that cast super often, but interesting choice. Just nuke a high-value unit. Also debuffs their speed as well. Little breath attack from Imric as he side shots into the Kepler Guard there. So already some high-value units for Tomb Kings getting shut down. In the back line, we see Shabti Greatbows getting run down by those Fireborn, although they are getting poisoned and starting to take some significant damage. Eyes of the Desert also here, sort of replacing the catapult as it gets felled. They have a line of sight potentially to fight or shoot the Dragonborn, the Fireborn even. They're going to try and eat a regrowth. We'll see if it's enough. They've already taken a substantial amount of damage. Dragonhorn is active as well, which means the High Elves are on a nice timing push. Settra a little bit bogged down in some Spearmen. You see here the lack of mass in comparison. Yeah, I'll talk more about the mass situation later on. I do think Settra maybe could use a little bit more mass. I don't think they should necessarily make him the very large entity class. So basically the way it works is you have your unit's mass, right? And then you have their sort of size entity class, right? So there's infantry size, you know, there's large size, and then there's extra large size, which basically sort of changes how it interacts with opposing units' mass. Katarine's Sled, I believe, is the very large size entity size, rather. So it essentially means that mass of any opposing unit of a lower weight class is halved against it, if I understand correctly, which is why it's almost impossible to shut down. In terms of infantry, I mean, high mass units can potentially block it in place, but then it also has a broken hitbox or missiles, which can't seem to hit it consistently, which is another problem in and of itself. But another Incantation of Vengeance going off there, I think, somehow? No? Maybe I missed it. The Fireborn did eat a couple of them, though, and just got absolutely nuked. Now Settra's in space here with no high mass units to contest. Doing some beautiful damage in the back line. Meanwhile, Imric getting pounded as Pigman was able to pull these Shabti Greatbows back into a nice arc here, get some nice space to work with while the infantry just slog it out. Skeletons are definitely suffering, but that's what they're meant to do here, as Imric eats all these Shabti Greatbow shots. It's a massive loss of value there, so kind of the 1-2 punch of Settra cleaning up all these infantry and skirmishers, and then Imric paying the price from these Shabti Greatbows. Keep them both in frame here, as Royal Settra charges across the gloomy fields of, what is this, Sylvania, probably? Anyway. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, Emmerich eating a regrowth there, but just eating so many shots, massive bolts from those Ushabti. Cannot keep up with it. Life Mage, ooh, a little drive-by from Settra. Doesn't actually make contact. Or no, that's not the Life Mage. Where's the Life Mage? She's way over there. What am I talking about? It's just a Kepper Guard. Just that green fooled me. Oh yeah, beautiful charge in here though. And the odd thing about sort of doubling the duration of the charge is Settra doesn't actually do a lot of attack animations, which is where the charge bonus would be applied. But anyway, yeah, just charging on through here, having a grand old time cleaning up these units. Without Imric, the High Elves are going to struggle pretty seriously here. Let's see, he is still hanging around though. That regrowth will keep the High Elves alive, and there's always a chance they can come back and win this, of course, with that massive healing on such a massive dragon. But let's see here. Settra once again moving through. Oh, there he does an attack animation finally. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could speed up his attack interval so that Settra himself is actually doing more sweeping attacks, like off the side of the chariot. Would increase his damage output, certainly, and would actually make that glorious charge feel a little bit more impactful. I don't know. I have to do a little bit more experimentation and see, really, like, if you can get him to, like, in what situations will he attack or not attack, if you can get him to do it consistently. Maybe it's just a behavior issue where his attack interval is actually pretty good, but just for whatever reason, the attacks are not triggering, like an underlying mechanical issue. Not sure, but the High Elves facing some just broad leadership issues right now, as most of their units rout, and the High Elf player are going to throw in the towel there, even though they've got healing and the dragon still not feeling confident they can win, which I totally understand, but a nice one from Pigman there. Settra getting some really nice value. Probably didn't pay for himself considering how insanely expensive he is on the chariot, but still, we can hope for a brighter future. The Ushabti certainly were effective in shooting Imric himself. Sepulchral Stalkers also helping to hold down that backline as well. Infantry just gets pounded, as is tradition for Tomb Kings. Shadow Warriors get a little bit of good value as a result. And then Imric, not quite enough. Fireborn did okay. A lot of these units kind of contribute okay value, but just not quite enough at the end of the day. So nice build from Pigman, fun game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like and subscribe and to hit that bell notification button. Just, you know, I guess I'll announce it in the community tab here as well. But for anyone who's stuck around this long in the video, I'm going to be doing a stream this weekend as well. A matchup between Human Boy and, who is it? Yes. Berserk. That's right. For a tournament series, we'll be live streaming that on Saturday once again, so be sure to tune in for that. That's it for today. We'll see you next time.